Hello, thanks for joining me today. This is Danny and welcome back to my modded 1.10.2 series. Today it is time to do a little bit of building in preparation for some immersive engineering. In the next episode I do plan on making the immersive engineering biodiesel generator, which is going to require quite a lot of space because it's going to require a lot of machines, a lot of very large multi-block machines. So I have reserved this space at the end of our little road, kind of expanding on our little town area, for a little factory that is going to be specifically for this purpose. And because it's going to be all immersive engineering, I want to go kind of with the immersive engineering retro-futuristic look. So I've got our little powered lanterns out here, which incidentally will stop mobs from spawning within a 23 block radius. It says. I don't know if I believe that it really means radius, because that would mean 32 blocks in every direction. That would be like 16 chunks. Right? Yeah, because 4 chunks by 4 chunks. That would be 16 chunks area. A 4 by 4 chunk area with no mobs. So if that's true, man, that's awesome, because I've really been missing the Magnum torch from extra utilities, from the old extra utilities, and this comes pretty close to that, and it requires power, which is pretty cool. That makes it a little bit, kind of balances things out a little differently. So this is the space that I picked out, and I've got these little fence posts just as placeholders to kind of mark the minimum size that I want this thing to be. That's the minimum floor space. And I think that's what, yeah, I think I'm going to go with that size. I was actually thinking I might make it a little bit bigger so that we can have a lot of just open space like in the middle for just some interesting features. The concept of retrofuturism is futuristic ideas from the past. That's why it's called retrofuturistic. So it's kind of like, you know, if you look at really old movies from the 50s or whatever, and about the future, like what they thought the future was going to look like. And that's kind of what the retrofuturistic look is all about. I mean, that's kind of what the immersive engineering look is. There's generally a lot of curves, which, you know, in Minecraft we're probably not going to be able to do a whole lot of curves, but there's a lot of curves. There's a lot of like things that look kind of like they're floating. I'm going to try to stick somewhat with the colors of immersive engineering, but at the same time I want there to be enough contrast between the machines. You know, I don't want them to totally blend into the machines, but I do want actually some wood accents in there. Like a lot of my build episodes, there's going to be some third-person time-lapse stuff in here. I guess my first order of business is going to be figuring out what kind of blocks I want to use. That's actually going to be the hardest part, because I already kind of know what I want to do for a shape. I want it to be kind of square-y. The main like floor plan shape I want to be kind of square-ish, like this building. The difference being that the facade, I want to have some curve. Here's my palette so far. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Just trying some stuff out. These are factory blocks. These are laboratory blocks. Actually, it's the same blocks I'm using here. These are factory blocks. These are laboratory blocks. But obviously it's different variations of them. But which is fine. I mean, we want it to kind of blend in with the other buildings in the area, but what I'm thinking is this is going to be curved. We're going to chisel this so that it comes out like this. Probably not quite that far, maybe just out to here. And then maybe we'll have it like this up there. And just have this. If you could just kind of imagine that being like a curve. Or we could do the opposite, and then it would just be segmented like this. So it would all the way over here, it would have like a bunch of these like beams. These curved beams is what there will ultimately be in the end, kind of coming out every so often, every like 5 blocks or so. I'm out of them, but okay. But we get the idea. So something like that. So when you're coming at it at an angle, you'll see like a bunch of those kind of sticking out. I certainly have not decided that I like this yet. Still kind of thinking about it. This is another one of those builds that's kind of pushing my normal like this isn't the kind of thing that I normally build, so it's definitely taking me out of my comfort zone a little bit. You said that I didn't like the blocks I was using. So I'm going to change things up a little bit here. I'm actually going to do an arch right here. Let's go about 3 in. Okay, so I carved that out manually. Now I'm going to take my negative chisel design and I'm going to click on this side so that it reverses. Let's see, did that work? Yeah. So we put that in a crafting grid with an empty positive chisel design. And I'm actually going to get rid of this block. Wait. Let's just get rid of that. Oh, it's too fast. And I'm going to set this guy to placement mode. There we go. Hooray! Still playing around with blocks. This is the hardest part sometimes, just figuring out what the heck I want to do. But I think I'm going to go with this kind of weird arch thing with black hardened clay. And then I was looking at, this is a block from Tinker's Construct. It's called Smooth Brownstone. And I think the main purpose of it is to use as a path block because it speeds you up a little bit when you walk on it. But I actually really like the way it looks with this. But then I realized that the polished sandstone from Quark looks very similar, but just a little bit lighter. I even tried some flat colored blocks here too, and it ended up looking exactly like the interior of my house. So I think I'm gonna go with this as kind of my external wall palettes, and then I'm just gonna make this the internal walls. I think that'll work really well, and it'll contrast enough with the machines where we'll be able to see the machines. They won't camouflage. So now I just need to figure out what I'm going to do with the floor and how I'm going to do the windows. This is quite different than what I started with, but I actually like this a lot better. I wasn't feeling that other build. I'm using my drill from Actually Editions because it's fast and it breaks everything. Since my SciCAD isn't working for breaking things anymore. I'm thinking about going with a concrete floor throughout most of the thing with accents using the treated wood. Like, I'm going to have the treated wood go around the edges, partly because I don't like the way the concrete looks against the sandstone. And then also we can kind of use that as like just accents along the floor too, kind of marking the aisles and stuff. Maybe something else too, I don't know, we'll see. And they're both Immersive Engineering blocks, so that's kind of fitting. My glass. It works pretty well with this. It's called Brown Asian glass. This is definitely not an Asian style build, but it works, I think. So I'm definitely ending up with something very different than what I had in mind at first, but I'm kind of liking how it's coming along. It's not as factory-ish as I was kind of going for, but I think that's going to be okay. I think I'm okay with that. got the main structure done. One thing you might notice is that it's not symmetrical. And I did that on purpose, believe it or not, because I have some machines that are 3x3 and some that are 5x3. And my plan was to put the longer, larger machines over here and the smaller, well, the 3x3 machines over here. And I was going to kind of poke fun of those of you guys who are a little bit OCD and would freak out at a non-symmetrical build, because as far as I'm concerned, symmetry is overrated and most things in the real world are not symmetrical. However, with this particular build, I am really struggling with the asymmetry of it, and I'm probably going to move all these blocks over, which is going to kind of suck because of all the chiseled blocks. I'm going to have to move them over individually because I guess maybe I'm a little OCD myself, because I cannot handle this asymmetry right now. I'm really struggling with it. I mean, it makes sense. It has functional purpose, but it's not going to work. I'm going to have to move it over. I'm going to make a bunch of concrete and make the floor while I think about whether or not it's really worth whether it's really worth making it symmetrical. Yep, I'm in the process of making it symmetrical. Just because I hear you all complaining. It's all your fault. No. I'm just kidding. It's not you, it's me. It's my head. My head's like, no, we can't do this. And it won't stop raining. I even slept and it didn't stop raining. We can make it stop raining. He's got a sad face. Huh. Right, now he would be emitting a redstone signal. Sunflower. There we go. Oh, look at that. Now he's happy. And the rain stopped. Nice. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with how this build turned out, even though it's not what I was planning on doing. But after I started doing what I was planning on doing, I decided I didn't like it. So I like this better. But symmetry rules today, even though symmetry is totally not my thing. It's going to be today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I don't know. All right, whatever. Okay. Yeah, those were just full blocks. Okay. Now I'm going to have to break and move each one of these blocks individually. And there's 1, 2, there's actually this little piece here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 12, there's actually 12 blocks in that arch. Just doing a few finishing touches to the build. Well, I've got these powered lanterns, and I have some regular lanterns. Oh, I guess I've used them all already. I'm going to make a couple more. No, regular lanterns. So like I said earlier, the powered lantern will protect an area 32 blocks in each direction, so 64 by 64 blocks. I've got one powered lantern here. I had 3 of them. I'm spreading them out now. And that's going to, if I have one here and one way, way over here, that's going to cover that entire area and 2 chunks in each direction. Nice. And then I'm just going to put some regular lamps here, just Oh, look at that. I didn't even see that. Oh, I guess that's supposed to render when it's up against a block. There. I'm not sure how I feel about the way it looks sticking out of the bridge like that. I might have to move that over one, but we'll see. I'm also not sure how I feel with this building, because I've got, you know, we've got this look over here. It definitely works over here. I'll probably... I don't actually need power for these, for the regular lanterns. They put out light about equivalent to glowstone. But what's really cool about having these guys around, the powered lanterns, they put out about a glowstone amount of light as well. But they protect all that area, so we can have dark spaces. Like the area between the buildings can be dark, and that's just fine. So then what I'm doing is I've got this whole area is protected, this entire area. And then I've got an interdiction torch right here so that mobs cannot get in. So this area is totally secure, and I don't have to like fence it all in or anything. I can just use the interdiction torches and still have kind of an open feel. And then I've got another one set up over here, so that'll cover this whole area. So so no mobs will spawn near. This is the only way to get in there anyway, so it's the only way that mobs would be able to get in. But there won't be any mobs spawning around here. Probably will in this area, but for 2 chunks in this direction there won't be any mobs spawning. And then I'm just going to put these lanterns just along the roads. So yeah, that's that. And then here is more or less my final build. I'm sure I'm going to do some tweaks here and there. I still don't know. I was thinking about doors. There just aren't any doors in this pack that I like, that I would like here. So I'm just going to leave this open, which is fine, because no mobs can get here anyway. And this is going to be our little factory. It's a kind of a very clean, nice looking factory, but you know, once we get our stuff in here. And I'm going to have a little loft up here and some walkways. And we might store... I might have a couple tanks. Actually, that might be a good idea. I'll have my tanks up here. I really want to get started in the immersive engineering stuff to get... because I'm excited. I've got a new building for it and everything. But we're going to have to wait for the next episode before we do that. But the building, it pretty much looks the same all the way around. And I've got kind of a interesting, somewhat pattern on the top. We've got the little ledge here, you know, like you'd always see in the older buildings. I do hope you enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to click the like button and join me next time when we do the immersive engineering. And of course, if you do have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you look at future